Good evening guys, welcome back to another interesting video of Success Tracker. The day 7/8/2020 was a day of deep sorrow for the Keralites. The dawn of the day faced a massive landslide at Rajamala which massacred many lives and destroyed houses and buildings. The dusk of the day was issued to witness a tragic accident of the Air India flight at Karipur International Airport. This accident also took many lives, including that of its pilot and co-pilot. The pilot, Captain Deepak Sathe, proved his proficiency even in his last few minutes on Earth by preventing the blast of the aircraft. Otherwise, the death toll would definitely have been a dreadsome amount. On the occurrence of event, there are many allegations on the cause of accident. But one thing that cannot be spared from blaming is the tabletop runway. There are very few airports only with such runways all over the world. India has 4 airports with tabletop runway, namely Calicut, Kannur, Mangalore, which are international airports, and Langpai Airport in Mizoram. Let's first look what is tabletop runway. Tabletop runway are ones which are located on the top of a plateau or hill, with one or both ends are adjacent to a steep slope which drops into a deep gorge. It simply resembles a table placed at the floor, but there is a treachery peeking from this system. The tabletop runway creates an optical illusion. These tabletop runways, which are located on hilltops, create the optical illusion of being at the same level as the planes below. As a result, when a pilot comes in for landing, the visual reference changes. This change in visual reference poses challenges to the pilot in guarding against taking the aircraft either too high or low on the approach. So, only specially trained and capable pilots are authorized to land in such airports. The lost life was one of such a capability. This is the third major crash occurring in this very decade on these tabletop runways. Checking the cause of each, there is no escaping of the vulnerability of tabletop runways from the cause of accidents. The common description of the crash of Air India Express 1344 at Karipur is that the pilot, while approaching the runway 28, stated poor visibility and aborted the attempt of landing in the first attempt. Due to the tailwind effect, the adverse weather at the location, after aborting 2 landings, he requested for another runway and runway 10 was allocated. But the aircraft touched down near taxiway C, which is approximately 1000 meters beyond runway threshold. Runway thresholds are markings across the runway that denote the beginning and end of the designated space for landing and takeoff under non-emergency conditions. This is marked according to the distance required for safe slowdown. Here, the aircraft could stop before the end of the tabletop runway and it plunged into a gorge of 30 feet depth. The instinct of the pilot made him turn off the engine and so prevented the crash of the aircraft. Unless it was a tabletop runway, there might have a chance for the pilot to maneuver the airplane on ground and bring it under control, as there would be enough surface. This accident takes us into a grievous page in the history of Air India. The first fatal accident of an Air India Express in Mangalore in the year 2010. It too happened on the tabletop runway. The Air India Express flight 812 on 22nd May 2010 approached the runway for landing in the first attempt, and the air traffic controller did not give the descent clearance according to the standard operating procedure. After completion of one circuit, while approaching runway, the pilot recognized that the aircraft was at almost double the altitude higher than the normal level. It was said that The captain of that flight was fatigued of insufficient sleep prior to journey, and black box confirms his prolonged sleep during the flight. Due to this sleep inertia, his calculations have gone wrong. So, with the altitude which is against the SOP, they increased the descent speed considerably and decided to test the ground without taking another attempt. The investigation report states that the first officer had 3 times called to go around, and even the ATC made the same query, but the captain persisted the descending and thus clearance was given. The aircraft touched ground 1600 meters beyond the runway threshold. The remaining 850-meter runway was no match for stopping the aircraft. The aircraft's motor stand arrested bed and stopped into coach. The plane crashed and resulted in 158 fatalities. Another accident on tabletop runway happened at Tenzing Hillary in Nepal. The Summit Air Nepal Flight 409 aircraft, while descending below the minimum safety altitude, was impacted with a tree. It was a small aircraft that it immediately after the encounter got wrecked and contacted ground 3 meters below the runway and then slid 200 meters along the ravine. 2 of the 3 occupants were perished in the accident. The witness states that intense fog may have caused poor visibility and subsequently resulted in the trauma. Any vehicle we travel as passenger make us blindly trust both the vehicle itself and its operator. Let it be driver, captain or pilot. In case of air travel, we keep faith on the whole system consisting of airport crew and flight crew. Their never blemish distrustworthiness, save mishaps are quite natural to happen. But on behalf of such incidents, we say that amendments should be made to the standard operating procedure in such a way that there should be no case of taking risks with human life. With our topography, we can't have airport unless depending tabletops. But at least in times of poor visibility and inclement weather, these airports shall be spared from landing. We sum up once more lamenting the lost lives at Karipur. May their souls rest in peace. Before winding up, there must be an illustration of gratitude. The 2 disasters encountered Kerala on same day was mentioned, and on both the locations there was a huge rush of volunteers for conveying the injured and providing all assistance for the government. It is noteworthy that this volunteering by these people were amidst the threat of community spread of COVID pandemic. In the case of airplane accident, they were ready to use their own vehicles inconsiderate of the COVID protocol. Huge respect for the selfless care by the locals. Hats off to you guys. Click the like button below if you like the video. And don't forget to subscribe the channel and press the bell icon for getting notification of our latest videos. Also share the video and add your valuable comments in the comment box. Thank you for supporting us.